Right, thank you for clicking on this video, and today I will be talking about, as the title suggests, cholesterol. Many people think that it is very, very terrible for you, and this video will it will kind of dispel some of the rumours, but also talk about the benefits, because many people only focus on the negatives, and there are benefits. It's like glucose, sugar. You obviously shouldn't overconsume it. I'll obviously talk about this a little bit later. You obviously shouldn't overconsume it, but you need it. Okay, and this is a bit like that. Okay, so this will be talking about cholesterol, its formula, its structure, how it's synthesized, its pathways in the body, what it does in the body, its benefits, and also its negatives, and how its negatives can be treated. So stick around till the very end, as I will give my final verdict on cholesterol. Also, if this is interesting to you, as it is to me, then please make sure to like and subscribe, because it helps out a ton. And also, this video is, in terms of cholesterol, it's very much linked to my video on testosterone and also my video on sunlight, as I will mention in a bit. So if you do want more details on any of these things, then I have made videos on them, so please go onto my channel and check them out if that's what you're interested in. And without further ado, let's dive right in. So, cholesterol has a formula of C27H46O, so you've got carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. It's organic, and then the structure, I looked online and pictures, there are loads of different structures. It obviously doesn't actually look like this, so I don't know why I obviously show the structure every video, but it kind of lets you wrap your head around it a little bit. So basically with the structure, you've got that there, but I will get onto this towards the end of the video, but its structure is kind of important towards what it does, because you've got bile, steroid hormones, and vitamin D. Steroid hormones and vitamin D I do talk about in depth on my video on sunlight and testosterone, as I already mentioned. But bile, it breaks down fats via emulsification and neutralization of stomach acids. And also, cholesterol is in every single cell in the cell surface membrane, because you've got the, sorry, I forgot the name of it, but yeah, you've got the phospholipids, and they form a double membrane, and then and that's liquid. And then you've got the cholesterol that's it keeps the shape of your cells, basically. So yeah, that's one thing that cholesterol is good for. But let's move into how it's synthesized. Firstly, before we move into how it's synthesized, actually, you can get cholesterol from synthesis, which is endogenous cholesterol, and then you've also got dietary cholesterol from fatty meats, so that's like your beef and all that kind of stuff, pork maybe, and then you've got full fat dairy products such as like your cheese, your cream, and your milk. Full disclosure, I eat about 14 eggs a week, and I drink about 14 pints of milk a week, so I definitely fall into high cholesterol when it comes to dietary. So yeah, now let's move on to the synthesis of endogenous cholesterol. So it does get a little bit complex in terms of all the chemicals, so hold on tight. Right, so you've got acetyl CoA combines to another acetyl CoA in a condensation reaction, which produces acetoacetyl CoA. Forgive me if I pronounce anything wrong here. And then this acetoacetyl CoA combines to another acyl CoA to form HMG CoA, and then via HMG CoA reductase, which is an enzyme. That's like enzyme, it limits the reaction, so it means that I'll get onto this in a second, but that converts it into mevalonate, and then via phosphorylation and decarboxylation reactions, this mevalonate is converted into isopentenyl pyrophosphate, and then this isopentyl pyrophosphate combines with another isopentyl pyrophosphate to form squalene. And then via a process of citization, this squalene is converted to anastrol, and then finally, via enzymic reactions, this is converted to cholesterol. So there you go. That's how endogenous cholesterol is formed. And linking back to what I said before about the enzymes and the controls, this is a negative feedback loop, which means that if you've got low cholesterol, your body will produce more, and if you've got high cholesterol, your body will produce less. So I will now move on to the pathways that cholesterol takes inside the body. Right, so now I will move on to the transport and the pathways that cholesterol can take inside your body. So, firstly, with transport, cholesterol is transported in the blood plasma, which is like part of your blood. So you've got your red blood cells here, but it's your blood plasma. Inside your blood plasma, there are these things called lipoproteins, and these consist of proteins and lipids. These proteins are known as address tags, as they make it so that like the body knows where the destination is and therefore the function. And an example of this is LDL, which I will get onto in a second, carries cholesterol from the liver to other tissues. Now, LDL stands for low density lipoproteins, and the density is because the lipids are less dense than the proteins, which means that if the lower the density, the more fats and the more lipids it has. So you've got like the lipids here. So if you've got loads and loads of lipids, then you're going to have a very high density. And if you've not got many lipids, then you're going to have if you've got many lipids, you're going to have a low density. And if you've got not many lipids, then you're going to have a very high density, as we will get onto in a second, so stick around. Right, so let's move on to the pathways. So it all starts in the small intestine. This is for the dietary cholesterol. When the cholesterol is absorbed into the bloodstream, and then this cholesterol is taken through the blood to the liver, and this is where the fun begins. So in the liver, there are the liver packages these cholesterol pools, which is a combination of dietary and endogenous cholesterol, with triglycerides to form VLDL, which is very low density lipoproteins, and this is transferred in the blood through to tissues and organs. So the muscle and adipose tissue extract triglycerides from VLDL, very low density lipoproteins, turning it into LDL, and this LDL is taken up by peripheral cells in a process called endocytosis. Now, the excess cholesterol is delivered to HDL, which is high density lipoproteins, which means that it's not got many lipids and triglycerides. And then this is returned to the liver in a process called reverse cholesterol transport. Now, back at the liver, bile is produced, and as we spoke about earlier, bile goes to the small intestine, where it is used to emulsify fats, neutralize the stomach acid, and it's very important in digestion. I'll probably make a video about this at a later date, but bile is very important in digestion. Most of it is excreted. I mean, some of it is excreted, but some of it is also recycled back to the liver. Now, this is where we do get onto the cons of cholesterol, because as we spoke about earlier, LDL travels in the bloodstream. It's low density, and it is involved in plaque buildup in the bloodstream. This plaque buildup is very bad, as it can increase blood pressure, it can increase chance of stroke, it can have cardiovascular disease, heart disease, all bad things, all very bad. You do not want them in the slightest, so that is why LDL is known as bad cholesterol, because it can build up and cause all these blockages and clots and all this kind of thing. And HDL is known as good cholesterol because it returns cholesterol back to the liver. So, right. Ways to lower cholesterol include so if you want to prevent the endogenous cholesterol from forming, then you take statins, because I don't exactly know how this works, but it just stops them from forming. It's probably something to do with the enzymes. And then if you want it to stop being absorbed and done all that stuff in the small intestine, then you can take ezetimibe, comitapide, and plant sterols. I do not know what they are, and I will probably make a video on them in the future. But that's what you want to take. That's what you're prescribed if you have high cholesterol. So that's how you lower it, to stop things like this happening, which can cause death, which is bad. So let me deliver my final verdict. I personally believe that, like all good things, as I mentioned at the beginning, such as glucose, all that kind of stuff, cholesterol, in moderation, is essential. You would die if you didn't have cholesterol. Your cells would turn to mush. You wouldn't have any testosterone. You wouldn't have any vitamin D. And if you've watched my video on vitamin D and testosterone, your bones would decay and you wouldn't be very happy. So cholesterol is absolutely essential for life. That does not mean start chugging milk. I mean, maybe, perhaps. That doesn't mean eat loads of fatty foods and be very unhealthy. It means have all of the essential good cholesterol, all of the HDL, and try and limit LDL, because that's what's actually going to cause the plaque buildup, which is bad, and you do not want that. So as long as you have a healthy, balanced diet, with your healthy fats, but also greens and all those fibers and all that kind of stuff, then you will be fine. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, then I highly recommend liking and subscribing. Do comment if I've got anything wrong, as this is new to me. So yeah, I find this very interesting, and please go check out my channel if you liked this video. You've made it to the end, so you might as well like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.